The Kings' misfortune in the past 20 years, basically, has been very well established. For as long as I've been watching basketball, the Kings have kind of been the laughingstock of the league. Do we expect that to change this year? Maybe. Do I expect them to be a somewhat competent NBA team? Yes, I do. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis proved last year that they were one of the best, if not the best, pick and roll duo in the league. And you know what the Kings didn't have last year? Spacing. So you know what the Kings did? They picked up spacing. Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, who were respectively the second best shooter on each team, Trae Young, and then maybe LeBron last year for the Lakers. It's kind of gross. Maybe Austin Reeves. But picked up two elite spacers, people that can score, and they picked up Keegan Murray, who I think is the biggest make or break player for the Sacramento Kings this year. Now, Keegan Murray doesn't really have anything to prove. He doesn't have anything to prove because he kind of came out of nowhere. He wasn't great freshman year. His sophomore year is where he really took off in Iowa. And this year, he is looked at to be the savior of the Sacramento Kings. So, let's talk about the savior of the Sacramento Kings. But before we do that, I'm like 6 subscribers away as we're looking at this from 100 subscribers, which is really cool because like a month ago I had 30. So if you want to join the fastest growing YouTube channel on the platform, subscribe. But Keegan Murray was one of the more NBA ready players. Behind Paolo Banchero, I would say he was the most NBA ready player. Jabari Smith, you could argue, but I think Keegan Murray was the most NBA ready other than Paolo. And I think that's kind of what the Sacramento Kings are looking for. They want to be good, desperately want to be good. Last year, the Tyrese Halliburton trade for Domantas Sabonis showed that they want to win now. And while I'm still not the biggest advocate of that trade, I still think Tyrese Halliburton will be better than Domantas Sabonis. I see the direction they want to go. The GM and the team is in a bad position because they have the longest playoff drought in the NBA. So they want to break that. They don't want to be another year of the Sacramento Kings are just the laughingstock of the league. So they shipped out one of the more promising young players they had and picked up Domantas Sabonis. And this year, in the NBA draft, they picked the most NBA ready prospect over prospects and projects like a Shaedon Sharpe and AJ Griffin. Those are players that might be better down the line, but they're not going to impact your franchise day one like Keegan Murray. I personally think Keegan Murray will be the best of those 3 players, except maybe Shaedon Sharpe, who I love. I love Shaedon Sharpe. But he is the most ready player to come in day one and make an impact. And they have some really underrated players on that team. Harrison Barnes, who I was at the game he got traded, and he was one of my least favorite Mavericks of all time. Nothing against him. I just didn't like the way that he played with the Mavericks. I love the way he plays with the Kings. I love the way Richaun Holmes plays. If you can have a center like Richaun Holmes on your team, you're good. Like that is a good backup starting caliber center. If you want to run small and run Domantas Sabonis at the 5, Richaun Holmes can come off the bench. If you run big with Domantas and Richaun Holmes, you can do that. I mean, he has one of the best push shots, little floaters, I've seen from a center in a long time. But like I said, last year, the biggest issue is that there was 0 spacing on the Sacramento Kings. 0. Nada. Zip. So they made the executive decision to go out and get shooting. If De'Aaron Fox doesn't have to make one read and hit the roll man every time, it can kick out to a shooter. Last year, that was like Dante DiVincenzo. Now, Dante DiVincenzo isn't necessarily a plus shooter, but he's not the worst shooter. But going out and getting Kevin Huerter, a different white boy that can shoot, is going to make a world of difference. Now, I think the play-in is a very big way for the Kings this year. Now, the West is very good. That has been very well established. Clippers are going to be back and better. The Pelicans are going to be back and better. The Mavericks are good. The Trailblazers are going to be back and better. There's a lot of teams on the come up. They're kind of in the pack with the Lakers. They're in the pack of possible play-in maximum 7 and 8 seed. So if you think they're going to make the playoffs outright, I have a very difficult conversation with you. The West is just too good. The way that the Kings are going to make the playoffs is that they get into the play-in as a 10 or 9 seed, and they have to win the play-in. I don't see them 1 through 6. I don't really see them 7 or 8. They're going to have to win probably 2 play-in games to make the playoffs. Now, the good thing is that it's just one game. Any basketball team can go out and beat any other basketball team one time. It's a lot harder to do in a 4-game series, but one time, it happens. The 73-9 Warriors, they lost 9 games. One of those was to the Dallas Mavericks, a very bad Dallas Mavericks team, but one of them was a Mavericks loss. Any team can lose on any given night, and the Sacramento Kings have to be the team that they lose to. Now, I expect De'Aaron Fox to maybe average 25, 26 points per game next year. He could win, not the scoring title. I was about to say he could win the scoring title. I don't think he can. He might take the most shots in the league next year, but I don't think that means he wins the scoring title. I think as a Kings fan, you should be excited. You should be excited because Keegan Murray is probably going to be good. He was really good in Summer League. If the Summer League shows you anything, it shows that you're on your way up. But I don't really see an avenue of getting better for the Sacramento Kings unless you trade young pieces like Keegan Murray. I see a very low ceiling for this Sacramento Kings team unless Keegan Murray takes an MVP jump. But I don't really see that happening. Sorry, Keegan. The way that the Kings get better is through trades, but they don't have a lot of trades prospects. There's not a lot of stuff I want if I'm the Kings, or if I'm trying to trade with the Kings. I mean, like Harrison Barnes would be cool, or Sean Holmes would be cool. But I think it's weird to say, but it's do or die to make the playoffs, not win a championship, just make the playoffs as the Kings. Because if you don't make the playoffs in the next 4 years, I guess like 2 to 3 years really, then I mean, you're going to have to keep drafting well, which is something the Sacramento Kings don't do. They don't draft well. If the Sacramento Kings continue to not draft well, they don't make the playoffs in the next 2 to 3 years, it could be another 10 realistically. Because Domantas Sabonis is older than you think, really. Keegan Murray is an older rookie. But I can see them making a playoffs. I can't see them making a playoff jump, really. I mean, if they do make the first round, that is a win. That is a win for the Sacramento Kings. You make the first round, that is a win. But I don't see them getting past that. But as a Sacramento King fan, I think you just kind of want to see playoff basketball. If I'm not mistaken. So, realistically, I think they can win a maximum of 40 games. A minimum of it's the Sacramento Kings. So, a minimum of 25 games? But with how good the West is and how bad the bottom of the West is, with the Jazz, the Suns, the Thunder, and maybe the Lakers, who knows? I mean, 35 wins could get you in the play-in. And I think that's what the Kings need to shoot for. So, 35 wins. I'm feeling 35 wins for the Sacramento Kings. Thank you for watching. This video was kind of short and all over the place, but that's all right. Thank you for watching. Subscribe. 6 away, right? 6. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. It's been Empty Stats, and I'll see you next time.